Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. And of course, as you can hear or see, we are in one of our studios in downtown Lansing, and we have with us the Honorable Supreme Court Justice Richard Bernstein. How you doing?
I am so happy to be here. This is a fantastic program, and I am just delighted that you would allow me to be a part of it.
Well, listen, we are happy to have you here. It's not very often, you know, we deal with the legal community mostly from the lawyer side, right? And what's good for business and how should you posture yourself, etc. But we don't have a lot of justices on, quite frankly. And I think the best way to do this, Richard, is I want to talk about you a little bit.
Sure.
And how you came to be a justice and how you wound up in law. So tell me a little bit about, of course, you didn't have a big choice being the first family of law, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. But I just have a passion for this. I love it. At the end of the day, it all comes down to people. And if you're going to do these jobs, whatever it is in public service, you have to do it because you have a love of people and you want to make a difference in their lives, and you have to believe in the true essence of what it means to serve. And that's why I love doing this, because every day in this job, not only do you get to interpret the law and be the last word in all Michigan law, but I really do believe you have an opportunity to make life better for people.
You know, it's kind of interesting because I always visualize your dinner table as you were growing up.
Yes.
And your dad saying, well, which law school are you going to? Is that kind of how it was? I mean, was law kind of presumed?
Well, I think what it really was the idea of service. I mean, before I became a judge, I was a litigator for 15 years. And I basically ran our firm's public services division. And what was so funny was my dad used to say it was our fastest growing division because it was the one division that we never charged representation. And it was the one area where you could represent paralyzed veterans, and that's what I did. And for 15 years, we would fight to allow for a veteran to have access to public transit, to have access to aviation, to have access to like stadiums, I mean basic educational opportunities. I mean basically for 15 years I was able to use the law to actually really enhance people's lives. And you can see that today in how people fly, how they use public transit, how they go to stadiums, how commercial facilities are constructed. And you can literally see how life has been made better for the most vulnerable members of our community. But I've always been grateful to my family, especially to my dad, to my brother, and to my sister, is because we did these cases for free. And we would lose hundreds of thousands of dollars on each case, but we did it because it was something I so ardently believed in, and they were kind and gracious enough to allow me to do this kind of work and subsidize it.
Well, and it was something that needed to be done.
Right.
And you answered the call, so to speak.
But they were kind enough to put forth the resources of the law firm
that's exactly
to take cases that otherwise nobody else is going to touch.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the educational process.
Sure.
Where did you go to school? Where did you go to college? Where did you get your law degree?
Well, I graduated from University of Michigan undergrad, got my law degree from Northwestern University School of Law. And it's interesting because it goes back to why you do the kind of work that you do. And what you have to realize is being in law school for me was so intense. And it's a 1 to 5 ratio. If it takes you an hour, it takes me 5 hours to do the exact same thing. And so every day getting through law school was an immense struggle. Like it was just a battle just to survive and just to get through. And I just said to myself, okay, there's got to be a bigger purpose. There's got to be a reason for this, and I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to keep going. And I made a deal with God. I said to him, Hashem, if you give me the opportunity to graduate from law school and get through this, I will dedicate my entire professional career to making life better for people with disabilities and special needs. That's why I've been so dedicated to this, because I truly believe that it was due to that promise that I was able to get through law school and pass the bar, and as a result, I have dedicated my life, as promised, to doing that type of work.
Well, and at the Supreme Court is where you can do that, because I think a lot of people don't understand what the Supreme Court does. It's not as caught up in justice as it is in precedent. Right?
Correct. Well, I mean, ultimately, we're the last word in all Michigan law.
Right.
And the Supreme Court, we fly below the radar, but our decisions impact everyone. in the most remarkable way. So you affect people's freedom, you affect their independence, you affect their liberty, you affect their quality of life, you affect their education, you affect their environment, you affect, so far as can families stay together, can parents still maintain custody of their children. Everything in the state of Michigan comes to us, and we are the last word. And that's why Supreme Court justices work 12 hours, 15 hours a day, because you have to get it right, because people's lives are in the balance and people are depending on us to get it right.
Well, and it's also kind of interesting in the fact that you don't hear a very big percentage of those who apply to be heard.
We hear 6%.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
But they have to show that they're going to have some impact.
Correct.
In precedent, law, or whatever.
Correct. We have to show that it has a jurisprudential significance that is going to have an impact and effect on the people of the state of Michigan.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have a very passionate, honorable Chief Justice here, Richard Bernstein.
Well, actually, I'm an Associate Justice.
I'm sorry, Associate Justice.
Right.
You didn't wear your badge. So.
Right, exactly.
And we're going to be right back with the second section in just a second. So stay with us on the Michigan Business Beat. I'm Chris Holman on the Michigan Business Network. Yeah, there's our first 8 minutes.
This is so cool.